Chief Executive Officer of the Youth Employment Agency, YEA, Malik Basintale, has categorically stated that he will not renew the existing sanitation contract with Zoomlion Ghana Limited. In a Facebook post strongly worded, Malik Basintale criticized the current terms of engagement, which pegs wages for workers at 250 Ghana cedis, whilst the company takes 800 cedis per person from government, describing it as exploitative and unjust to the Ghanaian youth. Malik Basintale's Facebook post follows growing public pressure, particularly from investigative journalist Manasseh Azure, who has long campaign against the contract renewal, citing poor treatment of workers and breach of contract terms. And you recall that the Committee on Sanitation in Parliament has also been on a tour, and most of the MMDAs are calling on the committee to also ensure that that contract is not renewed. There have been several calls on that, but remember, Malik Basintale says he's going to give details of that tonight whilst he comes on live. But the Greater Accra Regional Youth Organizer of the NDC has also taken to Facebook. He's written a post about it, and let me read excerpts of it for you before we go on the line and engage him. He says, "What is it about Zoomlion that people are scared to be blunt and rather beating about the bush, pretending to have vulnerable people at heart?" Now, this is very, very interesting, and it has a lot of comments under it. He says the CEO of Zoomlion, regardless of his power in society because of his wealth, should be told in the face that charging government 850 cedis but paying vulnerable beneficiaries 250 cedis monthly is plain thievery. Whoever in government entered into that contract with him is an accomplice. Now, Amos Blessing Amose, Greater Accra Regional Youth Organizer of the NDC, joins us on the line. Amos, good evening to you. Thank you very much for your time tonight on 505.
Good evening, Valentina, and good evening to your listeners.
That's some strong words you've put together on Facebook, and I'm sure you've seen the reaction so far. So what prompted this?
Well, thank you very much. I think for the past 2 or so 3 days, this issue has come to the front burner regarding the sanitation contract between the Youth Employment Agency and Zoomlion. And in fact, this is not the first time that this issue has come up. Yes. It has come up in the past. And nobody has any issue with Zoomlion. It's a Ghanaian company that all of us should be interested in encouraging Ghanaians to enter into such uncharted waters. But a contract that is fine, and the terms of the contract is that government will pay Zoomlion 850 Ghana cedis for a beneficiary monthly.
Okay. And
then Zoomlion will pay the beneficiary 250 cedis a month. Meaning Zoomlion retain 600 Ghana cedis out of the 850 cedis. It defies wisdom. It does not make sense. How many people can survive on 250 Ghana cedis a month? What is the minimum wage in Ghana? Nobody can survive with that amount of money. So what we are saying is that I am the leader of the youth in Accra and the leader of the youth of the biggest youth wing in the party, which is Greater Accra. The party is a government. And I am speaking on behalf of the youth, not only the youth of NDC, but the youth of Ghana, that Zoomlion cannot continue to shorten beneficiaries. And we are even happy that as we speak, there is no contract between YEA and Zoomlion because the contract lapsed somewhere last year. And what Zoomlion is currently doing is to try to renegotiate the contract for the contract to be extended. Where I stand is that given the fact that Zoomlion, the chief executive himself, is a member of the Church of Pentecost, and in fact an elder of the Church of Pentecost, did not put human face to look at the amount that he paid beneficiaries out of the money he received from Ghanaians. The government of Ghana. On the basis of that, he does not deserve any contract extension, even if the terms are renegotiated and it is in favor of beneficiaries. I think for the mere fact that he shortened Ghanaians in that manner, he should not be awarded any contract again in that respect. I don't think it is fair to do that. Even if the terms of the contract is renewed, the sanitation contract should be decentralized. The current form of the contract, where the whole of the sanitation issue in the country is awarded to Zoomlion, it's as if the hands of the MMDC have been tied. And new district municipal metropolitan district chief executive should be given the free hand to award their own sanitation contract to whoever is ready to do the job. In any case, Zoomlion has been on this sanitation contracting for so many years. Look at the sanitation situation in Greater Accra. It is not improving, it's rather worsening. And before you renew a contract, you need to conduct a review of the work that the company had done in the past, whether there had been improvement. If there was improvement, then you can renew the contract. But as you see, it has gone from bad to worse. So on what basis would that contract be renewed? Zoomlion has failed so far as the management of the waste is concerned in the country, not only in Greater Accra. It does not deserve anything close to waste management in this country, particularly when it comes to sanitation.
Amos, why are you blaming Zoomlion when that contract was between the government of Ghana and that company? The company comes to an agreement with the government of Ghana. They tell you, I'm going to take this. And then from, just like you stated, this is not the first time this issue has come up. Somewhere in October last year, October 3, 2024 precisely, Zoomlion issued a press statement when some of the workers were complaining about delays in salaries. And they were categorical. If you look at that press statement, they said that the payment of YEA operative allowances is solely determined by the government/YEA. So the government then releases the money to Zoomlion for onward payment to the beneficiaries, as Zoomlion manages their day-to-day activities but does not control or determine the amount or timing of payment to the operatives. So if this is agreed by YEA, why are we blaming Zoomlion for paying them $250 when that money was agreed on by the government and YEA?
That was why in my Facebook post I mentioned that whoever in government negotiated that terms with YEA is an accomplice. And fair enough, what we are even discussing, the contract has come to an end. So there is no need of going into the details of whatever happened. As for the shortchanging, they have shortchanged government in the past. The past government, between the past government and YEA, they have shortchanged Ghanaians in the past. Going forward, we should start on a fresh note. And I'm saying that there is no need, even if we are to award the contract to Zoomlion again, what has been the performance of Zoomlion in the past? They have not done anything better. Our situation in terms of sanitation has gone from bad to worse. So we don't have the capacity to do the work. So let's engage give the Metropolitan Municipal and District Assembly the opportunity to engage others who are also into waste management or sanitation issues to do the work. If after doing the work, we review after a year, they are also not able to do what we have asked them to do, then we can look elsewhere to get someone who can do the work. As we speak, Zoomlion has proven clearly that they cannot do the work. That is why we have issues of sanitation still as a major headache in this country.
Are we also looking at the number of people the company has employed? So we are cancelling or not renewing contracts. Someone will also say that they employ people and we are looking at job losses. Can we avert our minds to that as well?
The people that they have employed live in districts. When contracts are awarded to companies, it is decentralized and it's awarded to companies within the district. These same people will be engaged by this company. It is not as if the people will be out of jobs. And they will even be paid better. Their conditions of service will be better compared to what they enjoyed under Zoomlion. So it is not as if all of them will be thrown out of job. Zoomlion is not only engaged in sanitation issues. They are dealing with other things. They have recycling plants and other things that they are doing. But I'm saying that those who are in charge of the sanitation issues, the people they have been paying the 250 Ghana cedis, they live in districts when the contract is awarded to other companies at district levels, these same people will be engaged to do the work, and they will be paid salaries or allowances better than what Zoomlion offered them.
Well, the YEA chief executive says he is not going to renew the contract. So let's see the details that will come out of tonight's engagement with the Ghanaians when he goes live. And
very well. We are all looking at you.
On Monday, we'll talk. Very grateful for your time.
You are.
Blessing Amose. He is the Greater Accra Regional Youth Organizer of the NDC. He says that they would resist any attempt to renew this contract. I'm sure that a lot of reactions. You're also sending your reaction on the WhatsApp number 0500,202. So whilst we've talked about employment, now let's stay still on employment, but this time you're going to the banking sector because employee involvement in fraud surged significantly in 2024, rising by 33% according to the Bank of Ghana's latest annual fraud report. The report, which examines data from banks and specialized deposit-taking institutions, revealed that 365 employees were implicated in fraud-related incidents last year. That was an increase from the 274 in 2023. Internal fraud remains a major concern, with cash theft or suppression accounting for approximately 75% of these cases. Of these implicated, 274 staff members were found to be directly involved in this type of financial misconduct. Despite the seriousness of these offenses, only 43% of the employees involved were dismissed. The Bank of Ghana is attributing this relatively to low dismissal rate to lengthy legal processes that often discourage full prosecution. The report is also highlighting a broader rise in fraud across Ghana's financial sector, with the total reported cases increasing by 5% year on year to 16,733 in 2024 alone.
There are a number of things. One of them is what we call internal control. So there are a lot of internal control failures. Number two, compliance effectiveness has been challenged. And number three, transaction monitoring and reconciliation issues on timely basis would have been one of the major challenges they are facing. Coupled with the fact that background checks on bank staff has not been effectively done over the year, and the payment of bank staff is a major issue that will lead to some of the fraud elements we are talking about. The total number is about 15,000 plus, which is huge. If you have permanent staff and you have contract staff and you are not paying the contract staff properly, you are creating a platform where people feel they do the same job and they are not being compensated equally. And they may form some level of internal collusion scheme and external collaborators to perpetrate fraud against the financial institutions. Stretching it a little bit, within this time, we have lost a lot of our best compliance officers in this country. Some of the guys we trained who have been responsible for financial crime and anti-fraud, many of them have also exited the banking industry, which means that they need to build capacity. And in the means of all this, if the systems are a little bit relaxed, then the tendency of people with criminal minded to have advantage could be high. And that is exactly what we are seeing.
What should be the remedy in curbing some of these instances that happen in our financial institutions?
Once the banks need to have an overview of who works for them, what roles they are playing, and what is the expected outcomes of their function. Then number two, they will need to look at a monitoring system that ensures that they have the capacity to meet the current trend. Then number three, non-punishable of offenses will always rationalize bad behavior and promote antisocial tendencies in society, including the banking industry. There has always been an issue between what the police will do when fraud is reported to them and what will be the outcome of those prosecutions. Once you are not prosecuting people and you are sweeping it under the carpet, you are just creating the pathway for it to increase. And you don't need a soothsayer prophet to tell you so.
So that's a fraud and security consultant, Richard Kumado, speaking to my colleague Kwame Ochi Jr.